trying to open. I tell you love you more, and you say it's broken. You make me weak. You're the one I seek. And I hate that I love you. I hate that I love you. If I could, and I would, carve out your heart. Carve out your heart. And I reincarnate it. And I reincarnate it. It's hard to keep smiling when you're closing every door. I'm trying to open. I tell you love you more, and you say it's broken. But it wouldn't mend mine.
Good morning. Looks like we can actually catch that regionally between songs there. One more thing to open. Dun, 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 dun. Checklist done. Okay, so last time we got a start. Now, one of the things I realized since yesterday is that I've been using the age field, which is not really going to be accurate for time played, because everyone who eaves is going to get a free 14 minutes, essentially. So we actually do need to look at birth time to death time and calculate some sort of playtime field on an individual on an individual life basis that is different from age because of that. Also, I did install RStudio. We'll see how that goes. Oh, and I did find the forum topic where Jason had kind of kicked this off. So someone suggested player life expectancy versus number of days since game purchase. Now I'm going to do this at some point. But I also am interested in like playtime versus behavior. So that's why I was doing this player time stuff. And so we actually get a little data browser in this one. So we're working on lives, and that also that gives us tables. Nice. Yeah, so this is player time. And I might need to rename these. I may also want to redo this so it's the time when the life started. Right now we're including the time of that life. So one of the things, and apparently that's the view. I don't know what that is in regular R. Or maybe that's an RStudio thing, I don't know. Anywho. I want death time minus birth time, and then... So, focus. I need to remember my syntax, because it's weird how it does some of... So this is one record. Can I then go in by name? I guess I can. I guess I maybe should have done a little variable for one life here to play around with. Birth time, 101 somethings. And our first record, You know, that's probably an Eve. They start at 14, right? Let's go down to someone who's definitely a child. That's 115, and record 3 was 190. But that's probably a fraction. 115 is just short of 120 seconds, if that's... Yeah. So that is fractional minutes. The delta is going to give us seconds. Okay. So this would effectively be play time. And then I'm going to want to rename player time, probably. Or maybe lifetime. So, well, I guess I don't really need that before I get to this level. So, in the pipeline of things. So lives, lifetime is lives, death time minus lives, birth time. I guess I could actually just start with that, huh? However, that is going to be in seconds, whereas age is in minutes. Well, that's just this divided by 60, right? With much more precision. But, yeah, and maybe there's a little bit of rounding going on there, too. Interesting. Or maybe that's also like loading delays are coming in there. Well, this is more of a roundup, so... All right, but yes, for Eve's situations, that is going to be different. So this is another expression we want to eventually work into our build-up here. We got a line. And that is going to go into this. All right, so we need... actually, if I open this in here, maybe I'll be able to have, like, source on save, or, you know, run source. Okay, cool. Actually, run would be appropriate for some of the things. We had to... So we do not want age, we want lifetime. And that was our only reference to age? Cool. And then we were saying... lives... oh, I also want to fix... how do I... Will this behave nicely if we do I minus 1? Well, actually, right now, I am going to include that in the average, because I think that's kind of one of the things he was looking for, but at some point, one of the things I want to try is actually just getting, like, Boolean, you know, death before 1 minute, death before maybe 3 minutes, either both. And look at that as a rate based on how long the player has played. I should probably just do that. Lives. So I think now we can look at that. Right, okay, that's wrapping over. So, right, so we're getting zeros on their first time, which is what we now want. So that seems to be reasonable. uh, somebody got... Wait, our very first entry... How did you get... a time played score on your very first life? We might need to break down this expression. Alright, so the part... So we're... We're trying to match that. Alright, so first thing is lives hash. So we're doing that comparison. Well, so this is just any array lookup at 1 to 0. Oh, is this doing what I thought? Okay, so first of all, okay, it is a list. 1 to 1. What does 1 to 0? Oh. That's not what we want. I want to include every life except this one. Do we do negative indexing? So if we do... It's a list. And lists all the only one. Thank you for the follow. Glad you like watching me ponder programming things. So if we index by -1, we bump the first item. Oh, that removes that one item. So I should be able to do... so if we do... I don't know, 1 to 2. Okay, cool. And then we do -2. That gets us only 1. Alright, so it's a little awkward, but it seems to work. So we take that. That is on my list of things to try at some point. And once the sort of Steam release of 1 Hour 1 Life gets over, and then Astroneer is releasing their update next week, I am going to be looking for a next game, so that's an interesting little vote. Alright, so we need, this does not do what we want. So 1 to I, and then we take that, and we do -I to drop off the last one. I mean, maybe there's a better way to do that, but the 1 to 0 is not working for me, so... and then you also... oops, no, that was there. And then... Okay, we're indexing by that boolean, and then we want you also to be that size. Alright, so our first entry, okay, that's 0, and we start to get second lives with the amount of time they've played previous to this life. Oh, and this actually does a cutoff, nice. So then we do lives, player time, assign that. So now we have the time a player had played prior to this, and then I'll get more interesting when we're at the 1 day of data. So we're not going to be able to easily do days since played in 1 days of data. I can set up to calculate it, it's just not going to be a useful value yet. So that would be, well, so we have to get the minimum birth time for that player in our data set. I did some stuff with players before, right? First, we merged by, so we need levels, lives, hash. Okay. Or is surely there's a way to do minimum by factor, right? Indicating whether missing values should be removed. All values present in the arguments. Atomic vectors. Five numbers. Or is there a way to group? Well, that would turn it into, well, if it returns an array of their, of a certain variable, or even either records, I can get the variable out, records, for each distinct hash. All right, we might need to do some research here. Our minimum by factor. Oops. Min value for each factor level. Okay. Just data frame with some values. So aggregate, deploy, tply are all things we might want to learn about. Oop. Summary statistics of data subsets. Data frame. X by fun simplify. Min? Okay, so fun isn't clear. A function to compute which can be applied to all data subsets. This would... So, I mean, I could do... Oh. Oh, there's a by. So maybe... Lives by birth time? Huh. To end the scenario at the second try in normal mode. Oh, okay. I don't know, I mean, usually a little nervous about jumping into deep end like that. But I have watched a little bit of it, so I wouldn't entirely be... Alright, so I don't quite know how to use that one. Maybe they got examples. Aggregate. Oh no, that's a by. X is test df. Data frame. By list. Ooh, okay, so list is like... by 1, by 2, lots of stuff. Average of the variables in... Make a list of region equals state region by mean. That's a Boolean. By must be a list. That's not a list, apparently. They were doing list on some of these things. I don't know if... oh, actually, we wanted to do this by hash, right? Not meaningful for factors. Okay. Wait, birth time is a factor? This one is not... Or maybe it's trying to do it on other elements of the... Yeah, other elements of the data frame. So, yeah, I may have to do, like, lives birth time. Oh. Well, that's fewer rows than before. But it's not giving me it in a format I can use. All right. What else is interesting stuff here? ddply. Okay, I guess help has to be quoted. Because it did that when I completed the one. Apply a function over a ragged array. Non-empty, a unique combination of the levels of certain factors. To which a split method exists. A list of one or more factors, each of same length as x, to factors by as factor. For each cell that has any data in it. If fun returns a single atomic value for each such cell, returns a multi-way array containing the values. Primitive list. Groups length. It's table groups. Warps, breaks. Warps, breaks. -1. Okay, there's some indexing syntax I don't know there. But this is over a single column. And they're indexing... All right, so if we do comma -1, we get if we did just one, that would be all of one column. So this is leaving out one column of whatever that is. T apply, so like lives, birth time, lives min, total number of levels. Oh, okay, that's a little bit too much. So that's dropping one. That's one particular column. Fact factors, 1 to n fact sum, 1 to n fact, blah 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 blah. What did they actually end up recommending here? Using av. So df indexed by equals the average of v1f fun equals min. So obviously av is not average if it's passing in min. Group averages over level combinations of factors. Oh, it's supposed to be for average. We can use any function to apply for each factor. For each factor level combination. Oh yeah, combinations of factors. So av a numeric grouping variables all the same length. Lives, birth time, lives hash, and non-missing arguments to min returned inf. Oh, no, this is. I think the way I did this, I'm not counting birth only and death only records. Non-missing arguments to min returned inf. And they were saying v1 equals average. Oh, maybe he's trying to select the record that is that. Anyway, what I got back was, okay, I think that's the right number. Oh, but that's for every row. Wait. Yeah, that's for every single row in the lives. So I would have to attach this to easily see. Lives, did I not? Okay, that's there. Is it that one? Started. So birth time, da da da. Maybe I need to, is it view? View lives. Okay, sure. And we want to look down. No, I can't seem to reorder these. Okay, this looks wrong. Well, oh, no, because this is the same player. And that's the same player, and that's the same player. Yes, this is like a couple people in the early morning or something. Cycling lives. And then we got... Oh, I sorted by this. Well, I mean, that's not unuseful. Probably actually want to sort by player hash if I want to... Okay. So that seems to give us our first value in the data set. Okay. Now I may actually want to process this some more, but I want to remember that. And I addressed this by getting lifetime and using that in time played. All right, so we got that to get started. Now the original question was something more like owner days. So approximately, this is seconds. So we've got 60 seconds times in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. Da 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 da. Well, we have well, no, this is started. We've got I might not end up keeping all of these, but we have lives. Well, we could just do days owned is lives birth time minus is equal to or assigned from lives birth time minus lives started. And this is going to be divided by 60 seconds in 60 minutes in 24 hours in a day. So that's approximately days. And it's going to be 0 for everyone. It did refresh this time. Oh, that doesn't seem like reasonable numbers. What the heck? That was like seconds. Maybe I need to parenthesize this entire thing? No. Am I not dividing by the right amount? So that's these should all be 0, essentially. Or maybe, do I need to parenthesize this because of how the operations work here? Oh, yeah, actually with division that would matter. Yeah, so these are actually fractional days. This one I'm going to want to round. How does round work here? And yes, this does tell me that there is ceiling and floor. So floor is kind of reasonable. I mean, you're going to have issues with the way people interact with time zones and things. Round would be a little bit closer. You know, when they're getting more towards their second day than their kind of second day. Alright, so then we take that and we make this lives days owned. Okay. Now, arguably, I don't need started here. Maybe the first date scene would be a useful thing to have. So that's not going to be actually useful until we get multiple days. Okay, but I think we might have most of the numbers we need. At least for Jason's original question. We might want to add in some other things later. Average lifetime per day. Well, we can get... Well, that's going to be by player. Well, no, it's going to be by days owned, which right now... so that would actually be this, right? Which is going to be very interesting right now. Oh, but this puts this value in every record. Average lives, lifetime by live days owned. Oh, I don't even know. Help. Is there... Oh, okay. Group averages. So it defaults to mean. Oh, maybe. Maybe, am I thinking of something different? Maybe I'm thinking like median. Arithmetic mean. Oh, trim factor. Okay, that's something I'd kind of... there's something else I was thinking about for that, but... No, maybe that's what I was looking at, like, murder rate. Things. Well, just do, how about mean lives lifetime? So I don't know if that's an exact number. Well, this is a simple terminology question. The arithmetic mean. The mean or average. The sum of a collection divided by them. Okay, that is, I think, yeah. Because there's another mean, and maybe it's like median. We just kind of sort everything and take the value that's in the middle of that list. Is that in fact median? Would that be called a mean still? Median. Middle number of the group when they were ranked in order. Yeah, okay. And that's the default for average, or AV, I think. So lives, lifetime by lives days owned eventually. And that gives the same value. No. I actually want this. That gives it for every row based on the group they're in. Maybe that's what this expression was doing here. Because it looks it up by, well, no, by any value that equals. Data table. Which min? There's DD applies. I guess these are libraries they're using. No unnecessary scanning of vector within. There's T apply. 1 to number of rows. That column, apply a function to it. And then I guess that's returning a result. Picks out 1 per group. Ties would show them all. Okay. Each level of F, I only want to keep 1 row, the one that has the lowest value. Yeah, that's not what we want here. We want... Well, I mean, this is almost... There's got to be stats by levels, right? This could almost get back to tutorial stuff. Our studio... Where's deployer? Oh, markdown. Oh, our help. This is a little bit contained here, but... So doing stuff with factors. Ordered and unordered factors. Levels. Okay, here's T apply again. Incomes of the tax accountants. Calculate the sample mean income for each state. Oh. T-apply lives, the mean of the incomes by lives, this was days owned. Arguments must have same length. Is length a function? Okay. Because it's in the same data frame. I don't know why they wouldn't have the same length. Oh, I mistyped lifetimes apparently. Oh, we actually had, yeah, around it. We got somebody who was towards the high end. Okay. And so this would actually also get me, what was I originally doing? Birth time by hash with min. But then I would have to merge this back to have it on each record to calculate that. So this solution is, the AV solution is great there. So days owned. We get that as, I guess, and presumably once we give that, that's something we can just take and plot once we get more data. All right, so it's getting time to bundle this up into a proper, well, I guess step one is get it into a function that can load a single days of data. And then, well, I do have to make this function. But I also have to figure out how to append tables. Well, let's get this one step here. It might not have all of this in the load, because after a certain point, after a certain point, we can just do this on the entire data set. After a certain point, we have to do this on the entire data set. Yeah, actually, so, yeah, load everything. And then this is sort of like process it all. And actually, we're going to need births and deaths over. So really, we could start making this a function. Edit our I don't know. Derived lives. And our other R function maybe editing this in here would actually get some useful stuff. So I still got this data here. Files. So I think source run 50 or more warnings. Okay, maybe not. Current liner selection. Compile report. R scripts. Okay. Oh, yep. I got the folder stuff turned on. And Windows is having trouble with colors again. So this is a very troublesome feature, but I was kind of experimenting with it. Well, actually, wait a minute. Is it one particular program? Our term? So our studio. What's it called? Event viewer. Console I/O? No, that's a scan. Nope. No, over here, please. Lots of scans. Oh, this is program files R. Okay. Not our studio. Program files R studio. Program files R. Bin. x64. So we were trying to do this. Let's able to download stuff. Oh, the other thing, we can do it for one server and then try to address the problem of like tagging people by player ID plus server or something, so we can track people across servers. I'm just gonna make our data set even bigger. I don't know why we need all these packages to do a compile check. Okay, got another one. Event viewer. That's our term again. Our term. Our term. What the? Yeah, I've got an experimental feature called controlled folder access that's primarily targeted at ransomware that kind of does default deny on anything in your documents unless you've allowed the program through. I wonder if this is like, because in some cases it's going program1 instead of program files. And that wasn't on the whitelist? Or is there another R term? I don't think so. Oh, this doesn't give me... Progra... What was it? Is this another window? Well, I can't... Ah. Okay, so it is RA, is where it cuts out. Oop. Ah. One time that back is useful. One. It might be resolving the path. I might not be able to add that. Well, I guess I only need this during installation. And it appears to have to re-download them. Actually, this might not necessarily do t-apply directly. ND5 sums checked. Okay. Oof. Okay, so this does not use our environment here. So we can't just do a quick and dirty check. We've actually got to deal with, well, I guess the upside is that I could reuse variables inside of a function without any problems. And then where is name from function bracket derived lives. Oh, actually, this is going to be from, oops, I am trying to go Vim keys. This is going to be logs. Vim keys. So I think we're going to leave that out for now. And then we need to... It ends with the last value. Oh. Ooh. Actually, how does... I guess I have to assume that's in the environment. Yeah, how does the function depend on function work? Because we just saw that, well, maybe it's a different namespace. Nope, that's current line. Okay. I guess that means it succeeded? Derived lives on day 1. Cannot find function. D-derived lives. Oops. No, it auto-completed to something else. So it's listed as a function. Okay. Derived. Okay. Wait, what? What the heck? And derived. Is it RM? Okay. Derived lives were 50 or more warnings. That only returned 1 record. Non-missing arguments. No, you know what? I remember seeing that when we ran it originally. And I don't know how to address that. But is it right that it's only returning 1 row now? Well, did I overwrite day 1? No. All right, maybe I copied some stuff where I was in the process of working on only a single row. What is a... or a comment? Uses an if statement. Okay, hash. Well, it'll work. And then for now, well, I guess we can only calculate or return 1 of these from a function at once. It must be Vim habits. Okay, that seems like a reasonable number of rows, so probably deaths is okay as well. Call name fix up. Big lives would be the interesting one. Okay, that's a reasonable number of rows again. Oh, wait. That's big lives 1. I think where we messed up was here. Because that was the test for one row to do it. So we get a bunch of warnings. But we did return... interesting that we ended up with a different number of rows this time. So it was like 777 before. Maybe I've done something with my data during all of this by accident. Anyway, we now have a little function that can do all of this sort of sub-processing. Where it was... Notes. I pretty much just copy-pasted this. So we've got that for reference. So now I need to know, how do I read and append to a table? I guess there's probably a way I could get a whole bunch of data frames and just flatten them. Help. Not ftable. Creates a data frame. Header set quote. I ended up attaching column names after I separated out birth and death records. Convert character variables. I've already got that clean up. NAs. Classes to be assumed. Maximum number of rows. Well, I guess I also need some directory traversal stuff, don't I? To even try running this on multiple days. Let's see, we had... data import export? Relational databases. I mean, this could be big enough to dump it all into a database. Binary files. Nothing about directories or folders. Okay, list the files in a directory folder. And it's list files. Okay. So list.files. Yeah, well, I don't have the actual purchase information, so I have to go with the first time they played. And yes, you're perfectly right. That's why I am calculating a player time. And maybe I actually want to convert this to days as well for ease of use, and I could, well, no, they're not talking of days. This is more like maybe hours would be appropriate for this, for bucketing. Right now it's just seconds, I think. I'm going to process it more later. But yeah, I definitely want to look at player time as opposed to days of purchase. But this is the original question that Jason had. I think maybe I should quote that to make it more obvious. So yeah, I want to look at that. I want to look at, compare that to player time. I want to see if there's differential behavior based on the gender of the character with regard to that. At some point, I want to get Booleans based for suicide at, 1 year, less than 3. At some point, I want to try and invert the killer stuff to get people who've murdered and see if that varies with player time and days owned. Okay. So our path is 1 hour, 1 life. Family trees, cache. Yes, and that's the server. Life log server 1.1 hour 1 life.com. All right, pattern null, all files, full names, recursive, ignore case, ignore ders. These all seem like options. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Yeah, and I'm not dealing with names right now. You talking about me or somebody else? Okay, good. So we want to ignore index HTML, we want to ignore stats checkpoint, and anything with names in it. Don't know what no means. All files, full names, pattern. Ignore case, ignore ders. Pattern, regular expression, all files, names of visible files. I don't want to pay attention to that. Yeah, I'm not seeing any dots. Okay, cool. Full path. The directory path. And I guess I can just reappend it, but what does that do? Okay, for a second there I thought you said only. I didn't see the other. It's like, wait a minute. And, coming from you, that's hilarious. So, we want full dot names is, and that, okay, that is relative to the path I put in. Recursive might actually... Well, no, because I kind of need to know what server I'm loading to tag things eventually. Yeah. Those directories. And Revenzill, whatever that is. Thank you for the follow. Glad you like watching me hack the servers. Okay. So pattern's going to get interesting because we have to ignore a whole bunch. Well, no. I'm going to get a list. It might be worth pulling out the names right away, but I could just remove particular entries. No, I want to get that. Now, how do we do an anti-string pattern? I know how to do, like, this is, like, not of the character range. But for an entire expression, as in grep, how do you negate an entire string? Oh no, that was beginning of line. Well, maybe it was beginning of line actually. But yeah, inside it's that. At most once, 0 more, 1 or more. Number of times. Do not make a back reference. Positive and negative look-ahead assertions match only if the attempt to match would succeed. Isn't this like a look-ahead assertion? Regular expression does not contain string. It doesn't contain a certain substring. Okay, and it does in fact come down to a look-ahead. Oh, but he was giving examples in A's. Okay. Reluctant quantifier. Yeah, that's for much simpler patterns. That's for sets of characters. But not ending in ink. Oh, can you parenthesize to get a substring? So this is underscore names dot text. Negative of underscore names as an entire string. Now this is in Java, so it could be different. Do I need to match the entire thing? Let's try entire thing. That still gets names. Oh, that's... That still gets not names. Oh, that allows it to match anywhere, though. So maybe we need to do that version with the... That's end of line. Yep. We're jumping multiple things here. Is that big? Oh, it's beginning of line. No. So maybe it doesn't support that after all. So it is false. Oh, splits. Oh, okay. So yeah, they're just saying this is wrong. All right. So we're back to negative assertions. Also, oh, actually, is it just regex in a string? Is that how this works? Or do they have like syntax for it? An optional regular expression. Pattern. Okay, yeah, just quoted string. So we're saying beginning of line, negative look ahead. Names. Anything. Oh, and then you did dollar invalid pattern regular expression. Did I lose? Okay, there's the matching brackets. Ooh, we have, nope, that's... Seems there. How does just this look? Invalid pattern regular expression. This is obviously a different regex language here, or variant. So I did see something about look-aheads. Oh, certain things support Perl regexes. So I think the answer here is we just get the directory, and then we filter out the stuff we don't want later. So we get that. Make a note of that. For possible later reference. And then we need to filter items in a list. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, because it's not the full list. Well, we can do select where. Having the full path makes this a little harder. Because if I didn't have the full path, it would be easier to say index.html and stats checkpoint. And I'm going to be iterating through several server paths later. Well, I'd have to go through and reappend. So here's a little test. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know if this is the string append operator. Non-numeric argument to binary operator. Okay. Vector merging. R string append. Paste. Okay, so yes, we can very easily reapply that. So actually, full names is going to be, well, leave it easily accessible. If we just change our mind. Oh, that's not the one that gets assigned though. Nope, wrong way. Actually, I think you can do that now that I think of it. If you've got a expression and you're like, hey, I just want to put this somewhere. All right, so now you can say server1 equals index.html and get a true item. And stats checkpoint.text and get a true item. Can I... Yeah, because this is list to list. So I don't think... Okay, I had a broken quote there. Yeah. Not interpretable as a factor. I need a thing to say is a member of a list. Are member of list. Named list members. Index an element. Can modify its context. Named list members. Test for list membership. Oh. Okay. Maybe it has to go the other way because the... Not interpretable as a factor. Now they were saying in lists. No. Wait, is that? Did I do it big C? Oh. No, that was correct. It was this got a typo. But that is in list. Maybe we do need to go the other way. Okay, and that gives you the true. So that allows us to remove the constant items. Well, I have to turn this around and run it through. Well, that's true. Ooh, it's true. I should apply my not to that. However, it's time for me to take a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay.
crashed.
So that might be why the vehicle stopped glitching out. It's still kind of doing this slow pirouette through the air.
Oh wow! And somebody died in the sky. Awesome.
All right, I've still not returned to normal gravity, although I was able to get into it.
This is worth.
Come on. Danger, revive me.
Vote her out, come on.
Vote Lisa.
Lisa! No!
Vote Lisa.
Dude!
Danger! Danger!
But I like... I'm the kind of person who likes to max out stats. Okay, so... I must not have assigned that one before, and this I messed up on. Okay, oh, we're not at full speed. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. I gotta remember to unmute myself.
And a wheel. Looking up, Julia. Looking up, Julia. There's been a murder. Who done it? Oh my God. She didn't even wait for her answer. It was me.
All right, welcome back. So we need to take this. We need to actually remove stuff. We need to take this. What is it gonna be? It's gonna be not. Might still want that. Is it? Yep. Okay. And then we want server one by that Boolean array. Gives us everything else. Now, I guess it happened they were the last two entries, which would have been easy to remove, but I don't know if I want to count on that behavior. So this is our technique for that. Which can actually kind of replace this. So this is basically going to replace this as we kind of progress through here. And now we actually need to do some sort of... We're just looking at regular expressions. Search for matches to an argument pattern. Now... regular expression. Or character string for fixed. Are there any related things? See also. Wildcard matches, approximate matching. Rareject, matching raw vectors. Yeah, nothing that seems like it's just a basic substring test. We do apparently have so not you. What was it? Fixed. Not the most obvious thing. So given server 1 has a ew, what? Okay, just the cursor there. Made it look like a curly brace was matching up. 459, is it that one? No. Oh, because this is just a list, that's just that. So given that, grep pattern in a target. It's names, that's the one it matched. And fixed equals true. It returned a 1, and in 58 it returns 0. So this is a 1, 0. I guess what we do is we say, for the ones we want to keep, which are the not names, is that equal to false? Is this a thing I can type? Yeah. Logical. All right. Does that mean actually does 0 equal false? Yes, but this does put it into logical mode, which I think is what we want for selection. No, I mean does 1 equal true? It does. But I do want it in logical mode to make sure it is selecting items from the list. So, for a single value, but that's saying false. But that's also false. Logical 0. Logical 0. Maybe, you know what, maybe I'm using this by habit. No, okay. Target of oh, that is an assignment, okay. Non-language object. Can I say integer 1? Nope. I need to be back to comparison. Logical 0. False. Logical 0. Logical 0. False. So not doesn't apply the truthiness conversion. Okay, that turns false to true. Logical 0. So you're a 1. You're integer 0. A bit. Oh, now is that? So... Is that the list one? Okay. So, server 1, 459 is the last thing we're doing. It is a name. So when it matches, we get true. That's a logical 0, which we think is the same as false. I'm hoping that an array of trues and logical zeros will act as a Boolean selection. So now if we do the, because we do that over the array. Oh. Is it returning the indexes that are names? Okay. Total misinterpretation of that. I probably should have read the docs, huh? Turns a value is a thing. A vector of the indices turns a character vector containing the selected elements. Okay, so now how do I turn this into... Well, if I do server 1... No, I cannot index... Oh, no, index. Well, that's all the names. Now we need everything that doesn't match. A Boolean would have worked great. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. That seems like a different kind of difference. So how do I get a list of indices that I want to remove? Wait, can I take this? No, that's the indexed. Ha! Negative indexes are things that it removes, I've noticed before, trying to set up ranges. So we take the indexes that match names, negate them to make it things to remove, and then index that by the original array. Okay, and now this was, if this was actually code we were going to use, this would go here, and we'd do that. And now what I think we can do is go the other way. All right, now 240, just the names of the actual files. So now we can get our directory. All right. Files. Okay. So this is going to be like load server, load directory. Function of a dir of a path. And we're going to have, well, I mean, I can load them to see that I do that. I still have to work out how we append results. Yep, I'm thinking of them again. So we have files, which is not only sort of a awkward name. And we've got one more server one here. All right, so we can check that. Oh, and this is actually path. Oh, there's a path here that might be awkward. And then we want to return our and now it actually is our studio. It was an R session thing before it was doing all the writing. Interesting that it could save before, but to do that, it needed the main program. Are you in 64? No. The question is, do I have to I might have to relaunch this. Okay. Well. And the funny thing is, this actually works around it anyway. Because now we can just go here and take that. So load directory. Oops. Path equals files. Oop, left a one somewhere. Oop, and there's another server one too. Files. There it is. Okay. So that gets us a file list. So this has been pretty much contained. And I guess now we're going to want something like this eventually. If we do this, we're just gonna have to throw it away for now. Well, let's see if we can find it out. Regex. Concatenate two data frames. Rbind. The same columns. The first line adds column B to data frame B. Oh, gives B and NA is B. So they match. Help, rbind. Does this take... Might take a... Turn bill on cbind 2. The default method, all the vectors matrices must be atomic. Recurs to lists. Can we do lists of data frames? Data frame. I'm not sure what dpars is. Nothing seems to suggest that we can do that. As a data frame. So I think this takes us back to time play. We ended up doing a loop. It seems like there might be a better way to do this, but it's hard to say. Wait, there's a loop. So we got, oh, but we're gonna need to do this. Yeah, for what, for in length. Yep. Going back to them again. For I in 1 to length. We have to load. No, yeah, length files. Wait. Man, I'm just misspelling everything. Derived lives.r. All right, so rm derived lives files okay, that was our compile test. divide lives. Okay. So for it's going to be files I. We've got a path. Oh, at this point we can say path. Ooh. I'm going to want to call this, because this is not a path append, or path specific append. So I'm going to hope it can handle the trailing slash okay. I went and looked up a thing to do string append. Paste. All right, so files I, we get a single data set by doing read.table perhaps. What's up, Jake? Ah. Yeah, I kind of wanted to give people a little bit of credit for helping out, but if you don't want, that's fine. Let's see. So that would be... Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any company. So that is... So I will unfortunately have to fix that on a couple of... Well, yeah, it'll still be destinations if it gets changed. So it's not there. Overlays. Oh. No. Oh, content overlays is this one. OBS added groups. So properties. So we're going to want to make that recent donators. Most recent donator. There we go. Where'd that end up? Didn't lock it. Oh, I guess you can't move stuff inside of groups. Okay. I think that'll fix all of them. So now we have the problem. How do we bootstrap this process? Well, I've been interested in it. The source is out there, so there's stuff to work on. And then, I played around with R before, and this question came up, and related questions I just thought would be interesting. I actually think I still have a couple of related projects to look into. So I've been kind of on that kick lately. At some point, I want to look into doing sort of a Subnautica randomizer, so you could make things a little bit less predictable. And I know I've got a big long list of other projects to look into, which I'm not coming up offhand. So to combine things, we have to have things. Data. And then we do maybe day. Now I don't know if I can C-bind data to day in every case. And isn't it... Let's get a little progress track here. Or note files I. Cannot open the connection. Okay. So we got to our print, I believe. Nope, this was not with the... This was an old one with the, without the slash. I did that in my little scratch pad. Oop. Oh. It's putting a space in there. Sep. Separate the results. Wait, separate the results. What is that? Oh, maybe you're dealing with lots of vector stuff. That does something useful. Okay, so, oop. Oh, yeah, there was some junky data, which was a little easier to handle in Ruby when I was going line by line. Line 5364 in March 31st. $53.64. Okay, well, that's not a hash. That's a death record, so I have to compare it to this. That's interesting. Maybe it was a sort of manual edit? I don't know. Or there was a weird character in the email address that broke the hash function. Oh, yeah, that broke something bad. Oh, actually, that's... Oh. That totally broke that line. I'm not even sure that one showed up when I was doing the Ruby stuff. How do we deal with you? And I guess I could manually sanitize my data. That doesn't set us up good to deal with future problems, though. Also, yeah, if it's a line-by-line thing, I can't even use read table. Because I have to process each line in order to possibly fix it up. Now, I could just go back to Ruby and then dump out some preprocessed data. It's a little bit less of a general solution. Now, for statistical purposes, one line isn't going to matter too much. Is there an option to ignore errors? Header false, sep quote, numerals, row names. Skip 0. Check names, fill. Oh, escapes. Header, sep. Quoting characters. Of course, if I start ignoring errors, I want to at least turn them into warnings so I could track other issues. Call classes, maximum number of rows, lines of data skip before beginning data. If true, then in the case the rows have unequal length black fields. But that would actually have extra columns. Yeah, I just want to kind of ignore that row. That's the fields requested. Type convert, fixed width and formatted input. Count fields. Widths. I guess they're considering only fixed width formatting there. Read dot table data annotation. First 5. Okay, I think it's a reasonable chance of getting a birth and a death record. Being more specific. Things, wait. Skip are true. We'll force a two-column data frame. Scan and read lines. Got merged. Can I just go up here? Scan. Read data into a vector or list from the console or file. So that's all very similar. Oh, blank lines skip. That's blank lines. Read lines. Oops. Read some or all text from a connection. Connection object or character string. Okay, bye, Jake. Missing a final EOL or embedded nulls in the file. See file to get another connection. File, temp file. Cat. Read lines from file. I think that's cat2 file. Line with a warning. File, read, blocking false, read lines. So how does scan play with this? Okay, cat to file X data. Scan X data. Skip one. Skip one, skip one. We're user-friendly data matrices to read a file one line at a time. So this reads one record from a file? Or maybe there was scan from text. Alright, so given a file, scan, there is no skip. What do you return? Expected a real got B. Why are you expecting a real? You had a sep, right? No, still expected a real. The type of what? The type of data to be read. Supported types are logical, integer. What is a list? The lines of the data record are records, each containing length what items. So I'd have to count out the longer of my things. So I might have to do some different data cleanup now. Now list. Type of what? One of 6 atomic types. Logical integer. Numeric complex character raw. Now the examples were like, I guess this is saying string, string, string. It's the type of the things you put in there. We had automatic. Wait, lives? 1 entry? Don't know how that happened. Guess we have to rebuild you sometime. Alright, it's mostly going to be strings. So we've got a character record for the letter. Character record, player ID is probably numeric. And let's timestamp. Player ID should be numeric. Hash. And then we diverge, but gender or age we can do as a string. Location or gender, well, we don't even care about. Well, location we don't. We have parent or death reason. Could be a string. Oh, am I getting cut off here? Not too much. Parent or death reason. Did pop end up in the same place? Well, it's got a tag on it, so it has to be. Expected or real got pop equals 39. Did I come up one short on strings? Got hash. Yep. And then ABF1. That's not even, and this isn't even actually what the data looks like. I wish it told you what row it was on. 9A, BF1. Oh, that's the second row. So it didn't like the death record. Or is it reading and then wrapping, trying to read only that many records? Can I specify less stuff? Expecting a real got F. Yeah, I don't know if scan's gonna work. But read lines is from a connection. Temp file, file. No. File. R. I think a default. Okay. Actually, no, this is the help for that. Oh, let's just read lines file. And okay, I do have to reopen it now. Reached max print. Okay, so that gets me a bunch of lines. Is this where I then have to use scan on... Alright, so we have to reopen file. We have to read lines into something. Oops, I may have overwritten a function there. It should be in the local frame, so I think I'll come back if we get there. And then we get back into maybe scan. With text. Blah, blah, blah. Scan, text equals lines 1. Now this did run into trouble somewhere in this data file. Can I say array? I'm going to have to iterate through this to figure out what line it's having trouble with. Load directory. So file. Actually, it's just F is files I. And then we did read lines. Actually. Since we can only read it once anyway. We'll take you. Now we have to do another loop. Where we attempt to, well, I need to know where I stop. And we attempt to do this. Oops. On. Oh man, I had this look way up here somewhere, didn't I? Cannot open the, it's one of the bad ones. Yeah. Yeah, so it's able to get some way through. Ooh. All the prints are catching up with it. I hope it's only the prints that's slowing it down. $27.22. 29.86. And there were like 5,000 in this. Right. I'd swear I knew how to get to the bottom of a file. Oh no, there's 11,000 records in here. This is where the more built-in stuff is nice. How do you handle errors? Should be NA. Did not have that many elements. Double quotes. Data stored. New format. A text document. Weird. You must replace them with underscore. Well, I didn't want to touch the data. Wait. Is this must be some other field? That's not an increasing record number. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of this one right now. So I wanted to print everything so I could see what the bad data was when it stopped. Ooh. Are we even able to hit stop? To clean this up. That's not really useful for anything. We won't have a death record for somebody. Well, because we stopped it, right? You're still not... Well, we're still spooling the output. Might be the issue. All right, and reload. So if we do that, then we just don't need any of this because we've just removed bad data. So I guess before we even worry about what we're returning, see if we can load everything. Oh. That removed the entire R session, which means we lost all of today's history. Okay, I guess I need to save the workspace every once in a while. Right. GVim. $54.07. Man, that was just a bad day. Excuse me, 5407. Yep, that's the truncated record. What if that was like a server crash or something? Yeah, Saturday was a bad day. That looks like a timestamp. Well, age means the death record. I don't remember which record we're taking for some of these. Did not have 9 elements, so that's not going to be useful to us. Nine, 5, 8, 9. Man, how did Ruby survive all this? This looks like a birth record. And this basically just needs a pop. Well, a pop and a chain if it's a birth record. $9,680. Man. Okay, that was a totally messed up one. I hope this isn't indicative of all records going forward. 9725. Yeah, see, this is why I kind of wanted to have better solutions, but I don't know how you generally do. Well, I could go back to Ruby and just have it dump out its data and then load that. Okay, we got past that file. Oh man, this is a different kind of... No lines available for input? Great. So don't return anything. So apparently their read table is using scan under the hood. It's just a lot more efficient. File size. Is that actually 0? That is actually 0. So if file.size This is file.info. Is this a path? Character vectors containing file paths. I am freelance. And not very good at marketing. This wants a path, so we have files I. I'm just assuming syntax here. Greater than 0. I might want to print out my index here so I can start picking up where I left off. Just kind of drop off the length files. Well, I can actually sort of estimate it from this. 140. Well, we dropped names, so that makes it not quite linear. Did not have. Okay, now we're back to a 9 elements. August 02. 1156. Yeah. Do you have... You're a birth record that ends off at coordinates. Shoot, what is it? No parent? Parent equals no parent. Pop equals... Well, oh no, that's a death, which would put it back down, I guess. I don't know if this is the pre or post pop. And birth records are supposed to have a chain equals, we don't know. Thank you, Obs. That's one way to solve Jake's problem. Yeah, I don't really have anything. Yeah, tips have not really been a problem, so I don't have anything set up for that except leaving your name up there for a while. Thank you. It would be nice if the stuff I'm doing could actually pay some bills. Not that I'm doing it for money, but it would be nice to pay some bills at the same time. Okay. Yeah, I mean, sometimes if I'm tipping or following someone, I almost prefer there wasn't alerts. Oh, that's right. I wanted to put out... Can print take multiple arguments, or do I need a separate... X quote. Okay, so that's multiple arguments. So we would have to print I to know which place we could pick up for pure file testing purposes. Okay, 145. And this is still August 2nd, but a different line number. 1679. That does look quite long. And yep, there's a death. Where do we cut off? We cut off in the coordinates again. That's a death line. Usually hunger, pop equals... We went from 48 to 39? This seems like a disturbance of some sort. But it's a death record, so let's say that it suggests a lot of lost data, actually. Failed write or something. All right, and this was 145. Let's go back to 144 just to try and take care of numbering issues. Nope, that's not the 1760. Yeah, so this is a bad day, apparently, for the server. So we've got a killer, and then we've got... This is a birth record. So we've got death cause, pop equals 41, I assume. And then birth record, so that makes sense. We are doing 2 files. Yeah. And another interrupted write. So there's the hash, there's the time. Oh, I see a B this time, though. This was in the middle of there. So it's usually hunger and pop equals 35. That's if I get the errors for the entire file. $1967. Yeah, that's not going to be a repairable entry, I don't think. Wow, this is a very bad day for the server. I wonder if this is... I know at one point there was like out of disk space issues. That's a hash, that's a hash. There's a death record. This is in coordinates again, so we can kind of fake it. Hunger pop equals 43. Oh, yeah, and then we go to pop 35. So there's a gap in time there. Yeah, and this is why I just wanted to have a more robust way of loading. And that is actually end of file. All right, so we're up to, and I think it was actually this exact number, 55. 6848. Oh, and we need, August is still a bad month, apparently. Yeah, that looks like a mess, all right. Do we have... I don't see a letter there. That looks like a birth record. You're at parent, birth. Pop equals 59. Oh, and then pop 1. So yeah, this is like a out of disk space and crash. We've got a couple 22s here, sure. Nah, wrong one. Okay, only error there. All right, so now we can go back to 1. and see if cbind works. Now this could get into some very, very large data, so I don't know if we're going to break something there. Well, it doesn't immediately break. Now, maybe concatenating with NA just makes the entire thing NA. That could be an option. I think we're at like 240. This is only server 1, but well, server 1 tends to get hit the hardest, so hopefully won't have as much trouble on the others. I think server 1's the only one that's had, ooh. Oh, these are just warnings. Not a multiple of the number of columns. So I didn't see those last time. Oh, and yeah. So we've got a bootstrapping problem. Oh, I also said equals. Does that make a difference? I'd have forced a habit. You know what? Let's, well, 3. No, I want the last 3. Okay, fine. NA. So I guess we have to do something funky like this, where we explicitly do 1. Oh, this can't be an if, so we have to assign... Yeah. So if a server is 0 on day 1, we're going to have problems. And then we do 2 to 4, I guess. And I somehow lost my length in all this. Oh, it got moved down here. Arguments implying different... I thought that's what cbind did. Apparently, it does not. All right, we need a test set up here, so let's just do... Not this is actually day 1. Actually, we should have already had day 1. Yeah. Just pick a random day 2, which should be oh, this might have been the most recent day at the time I did this. Oh no, 11 is the month. Though could I just download more data? Right, because it becomes Monday. So now we cannot do... Oh, also, I need to count for the blanks in the bind. Yeah, different number of rows. Okay. Concat data frames. There's C-bind again. Is this vertical or horizontal? Oh, C-bind and R-bind are row and column. How much you want to bet? Nope. Names do not match previous names. Oh, I've probably been manipulating day... Yeah, I've been manipulating day one. So in theory, this will work. And I guess we only need to do this as well if we loaded data. I wonder if this would possibly respond differently. Yep. Okay. 4,000 rows omitted. This is earlier on, so it might in fact be smaller. So let's try data NA. We'll just do this day one, R-bind data day one. NA. Okay, so yep, that does in fact not work there. A general solution to this might require that I explicitly check if we've loaded any data yet. And then say, well, do we put it into data or do we append to it? And this, we think, is going to actually get something. So this is still just the birth records. Or just the logs. And we weren't actually binding before. So, yeah, might be going a little bit slower. Logs. That doesn't feel like enough observations. Not by a long shot. Only 4,000 for the entire history? All right. That's gonna do. Let's just neuter that. So we see what the first one is. Oh, I have. I'm an idiot. We have to reassign this, which probably explains the issues we were having with entry 1. Actually, so here we go. Yep. Wrong window. rbind logs NA. Okay, so yeah. Don't even need to worry about the special case. I probably do want to do a little short test. We should not need that. That becomes... Well, unless the other direction is a problem. That's how we test it. Ooh, that's a whole bunch of rows. Okay, now we get to see if it falls over. Ooh, it's slowing down all right. Let's take a... Still got available memory, so we're not out yet. Now, how much the program can access might be another question. There is cached. Well, let's actually work on the CPU a little bit, too. Yeah, well, yeah, I expected that, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is that we're reconstructing the data frame every time. So there might be better ways to sort of append to tables. That's my inexperience with R showing. But I didn't know any way to just sort of build up a giant data set from multiple files. I guess we're gonna be here for a while. So R data multiple files. Loading many files. Bunch of data files. File names. Okay, so this is if I got a loading function. Well, the loading function that does something useful. Yeah, so if I had a function that loaded a file, I could lapply it. Which is, and actually this is something I've been kind of looking for in general. Just is this a library function? Okay. Decide what the parts I don't want. File names, function that does the loading. So for him, he's getting a new env. Doing some kind of load. Pattern, assign object name, env, Well, I think that might be like the R environment. Actually, I forgot I wanted to save that every once in a while. So that's like almost useful, so I don't even have this function. Function on loading many files. That's the loading files many at once. Manipulating a mean from data held in multiple files. Now that's something you could conceivably do in each file and sort of combine them. You don't loop over the files. Okay. You get the mean of the last file. Create a vector of names, then stations. Don't need looping conditional statements. String you expect. Directory, file path. What's file path if we were to hit for passing directory? Maybe it's a base for the directory. Names, paste, station, read CSV, do calculation, do the mean. So it's not actually combining data frames. Contents of multiple text files. Okay, how about this? Ooh, do call rbind over lapply. List of the file names, but the contents of the files. Oh. List.files. Is like lapply an operator or something that's not in the help? Read the files in. Function, read table. Combine them. Okay, so this is a little bit better way to... This might actually be a more efficient way to append them. Get them all as individual objects. Memory is going down. We also opened some web pages. Set of data files. Files and folders. Read data. Do each file in F, pass to the function. Okay, so yeah, let's see what's up with lapply. List files. List files. Yeah, they're not very detailed there. So these seem to be the basic techniques. We are 153 of, I think it was like about 240 days at the time I did this capture. And then we have to do the processing in all of these, which is likely to be pretty intensive as well. Let's see, is there anything else we need to look up? We pretty much abandoned this stuff. The prints. I mean, the dates, one thing will give us, the number was just if we had to resume. Oh, that would attempt to source, didn't it? Oh well. We turn that off for a little bit. So we think, so we get a list of files. We have a function that does one file. Although, this is a little bit of a problem. because it will actually fail on a zero-size file. I could do a lapply file size. This is stuff I might want to work out a little bit more interactively. It's there. But if we assume that works, here, since we can't really execute it anyway, load directory. Oh, that was the other one. Okay. Of course, now we need this over here, so we can look at that. Yep. So we think this is going to be not a loop at all. Oops, got some white space there. So we've got all our files. We want to lapply. Well, I have to get a console back and see if lapply actually exists in my environment, or if it's a library or what. To files. Well, our first check would be file.size. And I think then we would say greater than 0. And we would do files selecting that. And then replace files. And then we would do... it's not going to be files anymore, is it? Days is going to be lapply files. That's a multi-argument read table, so it's not as simple as putting it in there. Function file. Ooh, and this is where I can do like, well, I don't get the I now, so I can't follow that. Print file for tracking purposes. We're just going to return our last value. However that works out. And then we finally return do.call rbind. That's doing read table. Text file. Oh, those are text. I don't know why they did that. lapply as data frame. So in theory, that replaces it. And this is something what we can do with this is do like, I don't know, 1 to 5. For a little test. All right, I'm going to take a break while this finishes out here and be back in a few minutes. All right. You're good? Yep. All right, you're watching the kids? Okay. And then this needs bowl with corn kernels. Yep. Okay.
Crashed.
So that might be why the vehicle stopped glitching out. It's still kind of doing this slow pirouette through the air.
Oh wow. And somebody died in the sky. Awesome.
Alright, I've still not returned to normal gravity, although I was able to get into it.
This is worth a screenshot, isn't it?
It's too unlikely. So we're using our Gurya. It gives us increased strength. Oh, frick you, game! I hate you so much!
Pure TX up there. Can I cut this? Yeah, I can go. And can I? Nope. I can't delete that. But yeah, that has to be pure. That has to be pure health. Right, and run that along there like that as well for reasons. Right. Okay.
And now it's very rare that you see buildings like that. It's rare, yep, yep. Oh, you little You know what, Mo? Here we go. You're welcome.
Alright, welcome back. We're at 2:39. I think it was... Oh, yeah, November 6th. Okay, there was a little bit of Wednesday. Which I think is when I first did this. And we had some warnings. Oh. I'm actually not sure what that sourced at this point. That reduced. So this was going to there. We just want to see if this works. Nope. Cannot open the connection. Maybe I got my file test backwards. Alright, let's get this. I guess we should close it in Vim so we're not fighting. Files. Oh, you know what I want to do? Session? I guess I don't see a way to do a checkpoint save. I mean, there's save all. Okay. Alright, so we have very many logs. So we have that. So I got all this stuff to process there. So let's see what file list we're getting here. Oop. Okay. I know we had files before. Can we even do that? Oh, I'm not on auto source. So we haven't been updating it. Yes, okay, that's all the sizes. Nah. Is that not a data expression? Okay. I'm going... Yeah, that's essentially enough to have reduced that. So is it this? I mean, that's kind of the biggest, scariest thing. Cannot open the connection. Oh, I'm still... Didn't change this. That'll do it. Okay. So, that appears to be... And I don't want to run the entire thing right now because that was quite long. We could... Fundamentally, the read table is the... Well, the R-bind might be faster. No, just files. So that will be something to test another day. Now, I don't know how painful this is going to be, though. Load directory. It was, derived lives. Oops. Derived lives. I actually need to get this into notes, so it's more like lives is and you are logs is logs from a server. Derived lives of logs. Leave how that goes. And then we can do some average stuff. So, don't have that sourced. Derived lives, we should just be able to hit that. Let's see if the computer melts. I don't think it's 277. But we seem to be responsive. Oh, nope, okay. Oh, what was I printing out? Was I printing anything? This must be from one of the sub operations that's got some output. Av, maybe? In which case, that is frightfully slow. I don't think... Yeah, I did not have an explicit print in there. I'd swear I had run this on... like my entire other data set. Ooh. Oh, this might be... Print? No. Because this is going to be the slow function. For sure. Because I have to explicitly do all of the previous records to get playtime up until then. Yeah, so I guess... Unfortunately, it's the thing where I'd have to kill it again. I might want to do... some sort of like step prints to make sure I know where we're having trouble here. Like next time we run this, let's see. So that's separating records. Columns should not be a big deal. Merging birth and death is something that seems like it could get nasty. It's column assignment. Column assignment should not be too big. I don't expect the G sub to be a big deal, but I don't expect dropping levels to be a big deal. That should be a simple subtraction. Time play is where I expect to have trouble. And then we've got Av. Well, the calculate started, and that should be straight up math when once we get down here. Unfortunately, this doesn't help us right now. And if this is like per player hash, as I would guess, what we've got, so our two big candidates are time played, where I don't think we should be printing anything, but it is kind of a per player step. I'm not sure why it's printed. Well, maybe the sum function prints by default. In which case that would be indeed very, very painfully slow. Otherwise, ignored. Yeah, no indication of printing behavior. Unless the version I had loaded of this which I don't know if I have any way to see. Oh. What has to wait behind the computation? Might have actually still had a print in it. Because we did have a little bit of a reset at one point. But it's going slow enough, I don't think the print is what's slowing it down. Well, if that's time played, that's like, leave that running overnight, because that's every single life. Maybe not even overnight. That is research better solutions, maybe. I want sum of values at lower entry for that player. In an imperative language, I would sort of keep a running total per player, and you could just sort of loop through and do that. are subtotal of previous records. I don't even know how to describe that. Previous record for each current record. That's not answered. Did I? Yeah, well, R is not a Excel. I don't know. I might have to like look up a R Stack Overflow or something. Because I really don't know how you would do that in a row operation way. I guess the other way to do it would be to go through each record and add. Well, it's only to the records that match that player ID and are higher. So you could construct some vectors and do an add. I wonder if you could do it by player. Get all their lives. Put it into the right slot. Yeah, one of the things I had considered is I did have this data in Ruby and it seemed to be tolerable to do some of the processing. So I could actually do all of my data munging there. And then just dump out the data to do the R graphs and things. No, I hadn't done anything with players in that setup. But I think that might have to be a problem for next time. So I can kind of let this run overnight and see what happens if it gets anywhere useful. I guess it's nice that we've got, since we do have the print, we have some kind of feedback. Yeah, well, yeah, it's getting past lunchtime. I'm probably not going to get to do Step Mania today, so put that off till tomorrow. And then we'll see if we can, we'll poke around at this R some more tomorrow. See if there's a good solution there, and if not, I'll just go back to my Ruby stuff and see if I can calculate it effectively there. Because that is straight up imperative. To have to do some collection of lives by player, and then you can just kind of go through, and then I have to figure out, make like a life data dump, and I can see about either recalculating this or not, or what have you. But these numbers are definitely looking like, well, I haven't seen a lot of above like 2 hours on anybody. You know, but this is probably still very early in the game's life. I don't know how you would do sort of like more intermediate output of where it is in the process. Because there's just like no feedback right now. Well, okay, we could take this and do, you know, every... Man, have we even gone through 1,000 records yet? But there's a lot. There's a lot. No, that's logs. Wait. Maybe it didn't update this preview. I mean, logs would... Oh, no, this is doing derived to get lives. Yeah. So I don't know what the total life count is yet, but it should be approximately half of logs. So that's a bit. Anyway, I'm getting hungry. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Obs for the tip. Thanks to Usser at Gaming, Catnox, Deadly Taco, Too Left for to Cry, Directly Phased, Instant Speed Live, Crooked Soon, Dead Mix Games, Thylos, Haskin TV, and It Rearranged on Me. Doggen Lake, Joy Chef AP, Stormy Ice Leopard for hosting me. I'm hoping to come back and play some 1 Hour 1 Life and add it to my data set, unfortunately, in a little bit. Until then, what do we got? Well, the first thing I see in the more developed side of things is, I guess that's Munilo. He's doing some programming. When I was there last, he had music going, he had swearing. If you mind those things, be advised. But otherwise, if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, he seemed to be somebody talking through his development and working through stuff. So that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time.